Tarisland has come to a point where every game or every MMORPG comes to where they're starting to get a player number that's probably going to stick with the game, and most people that came to Tarisland for the hype and excitement are leaving. So Tarisland decided to make some changes. How can we counter this? So they decided to let's merge a Europe server with America and Latam servers, and then give Europe 100 ping. I don't know who thought about this, but they did this. And so we're going to talk about Tarisland, the future of Tarisland, what's going to be happening with the game, and what the developers are planning. So let's jump right into the video. All right, so yesterday, if you guys do not know, they tried to make an attempt on merging NA, EU, and LATAM servers, and they weren't going to merge like the Europe servers with the NA so they can play together and see each other in the game. They're just giving EU NA's region servers so that we could queue into them in raids and dungeons, right? Now, the idea behind it was smart. That way we can play. If we can't find people from Europe, we can play into America, and we can play to LATAM. So the idea is good. It's just really bad executed, right? Because the way it could work, okay, in my opinion, this is how it could have worked, is if you are a European player or NA player or LATAM player, right? EU should not be able to queue into LATAM servers because the ping is too big, and vice versa. But EU should be able to queue into NA, and LATAM should be able to queue into NA. However, you should not have this ping always. You should have your own servers, European servers, and when you queue into a raid or into a dungeon, the game will automatically search for a European player first. And if they cannot find a European player, you will get queued into an NA team, right? And the raid leader will basically be the host of it. Now, I don't think this is possible because of the infrastructure of the game, but this will be the way to do it, right? You play with European ping like I am right now. I would, let's say I want to queue into an old elite raid that nobody runs anymore, like the ancient tree. I would queue in to matchmake, right? And then let's say I do this, enter matchmaking. I'll do as a DPS, right? I'll queue in, and then it will search for a European player. And then if I cannot get a team for it, it will then search for America player, right? And then I can get a queue into America. Then I will have some ping issues. But it should not be all the time. It doesn't make sense. So the way to do it is basically doing it this way. Now, if they ever do this again, which I'm most likely they will do. They reverted it yesterday because of a lot of feedback and outrage from the community. But if they are going to do it, guys, make sure you guys use exit lag. Yesterday, we all were using exit lag, and it reduced my ping from 150 to down to 70. So you guys use my code in the link description below or link right here, and you can use exit lag. It helps again with the ping hashtag ad, by the way. In the future, I do see them trying to do some kind of merges like they try to do this time, right? With America. I like the idea. I really want to play with people from America. I know a bunch of people. I like the concept, but it does not work like this. They cannot give EU suddenly 1,000 ping. It doesn't make sense at all. So, yeah, that was really stupid. Next up we got to talk about is the game population itself. Now, the game has come to a place where the people that actually are going to be playing Tarisland long term are staying in the game. So it lost a lot of like the player base and the people that came for the excitement and the hype. And I have to say, I want to do a separate video on this where I kind of talk about like the seasons itself and the season ending, how it affects the game, how the season overall affects the game, how the pay to win starts affecting the game. But right now I just want to talk a little bit about the concept of Tarisland, because I'm not gonna lie, late season right now, when you start unlocking these epic mode raids, I will be honest, the epic mode raids are not as exciting as they were at elite mode, right? Because the epic mode is basically the same raids with a couple new mechanics. They're fairly easy to do too. So overall, I would say we don't spend as much time in the epic modes anymore, and there's just the same raids. So I don't feel excitement around it, and the gears, everything around the epic mode raids gets a little bit more expensive. You need to get triple stats on your gear, which is insane. You need to start min-maxing a lot of new things. And overall, I think the epic mode experience is not as good, but they did this so the season can last out until next season, right? Because if they don't add this epic mode, they don't have content for the next season. So I think the best way to enjoy Tarisland fully is you play the game until they start releasing epic mode, and then you take a break. Because in this game, as you guys know, we have seasons, right? I talked about it. I made a whole separate video about the seasons. We're in season 0, and when season 1 comes, what's gonna happen is everything, most of the things are gonna get reset, right? Your inscribed stone will get reset, so everybody can catch up. Your gear, you will start getting new gear, new gems, all that stuff, so everybody can catch up. So I think the best way to play Tarisland would be to play in season 0, and then when season 1 comes, you come back to the game and play it, right? So I am definitely going to be playing the game when season 1 resets. A lot of people in my guild and people I know or friends that I know will be coming back to the game when season 1 comes. So it will be a good way. So it's very important for Tarisland is when the season 1 enters and they introduce it, they have to do it in the right way. Because if they do not do it in the right way, they don't create enough excitement, they don't do enough marketing for the season, it's gonna flop. The game's gonna flop. So it all depends on how they do the season 1. I'm kind of nervous for it. But I really hope they put some time into it. They add new level cap, new zones, introduce people back to the game, do a bunch of marketing stuff, because this game can be fresh every single season because they're gonna be adding new raids, completely new raids. We're gonna get like 7, 8 new raid bosses. We're gonna get a bunch of dungeon modes. We're gonna get a lot of content basically, right, to the game. So it all depends on how they will handle the seasons. So I do think Tarisland has like one of the only MMOs that can actually do this because of the season system. Because right now, if they didn't have a season system, I would say the game would have possibly died, right? If you go in 1 month more into the game and you don't introduce a new season, the game will most likely die because right now the population is shrinking. But overall, if they made the correct decisions for the next season, I think it's actually survivable. When it comes to the pay to win itself, I mean, I guess I can just talk about the pay to win too in this video. So the pay to win in this video or in the game is there is more pay to win. I have to say, when you hit epic mode, that's why I'm talking about like just playing during the normal elite difficulty, because when you hit epic mode, the pay to win increases very much. And I think the reason they're doing this is because this is just recycled content and they know they're going into the next season, so they want to milk players to get the best stats, right? Because you need your temper 3 stats, you buy a bunch of gear, you buy tier 4 empowerments and stuff, and then you go into the next season. So I think that every time at the end of the season, just going to milk money. You can keep up as a free-to-play player. As you guys know, I spent $0 in this game, and I've been able to keep up, being able to compete for most of the rankings, everything, because I play a bunch of hours. That's why, right? If you play a bunch of hours in this game, you can keep up. If you cannot spend a lot of hours in the game, you have to spend money in the game. That's just how it is, right? I spent a bunch of hours and I'm able to stay free to play and also compete. But right now, when it comes to the epic mode, now it's getting a little bit difficult because now you got to buy a lot of stuff, T4 empowerments, a lot of gear. So I just don't think epic mode is really an enjoyable experience. Like the end of the season in Tarisland, I don't think it's an enjoyable experience. But I think the first season, at the start of the season and mid-season, about like 3 weeks into the game, every season would be really exciting. Or every month, I think the other seasons would be longer, but like the first half of the season would be really fun, and then the rest of that won't be fun. So the way I think most of the people are going to be playing Tarisland going forward is they're going to play Tarisland a lot every season reset, and then less later on. And you can see the kind of population too, right? And I have to say, I've got to give feedback right now is this game is not casual. They said this game is supposed to be casual, but if you're a competitive player, especially, maybe more casual for other players, but they need to add more ways to make this game casual. For example, a good example is the reputation quest, right? They need to add a way so you can do this reputation quest a little faster because they take a bunch of time, bro. Like 10, even if it takes 15 or 20 minutes, they take too much time to complete, right? It's like your daily stuff that you need to do, right? Now they had an arcane key, which is good option. They need to add something for exploration too. Same thing with Dark Invasion. They gotta make these dailies a little bit easier, a little bit more casual, because you spend too much time in them. Same thing with the leaderboards. Like there needs to be some space in between these leaderboards that they have in the game, right? So people can actually compete in them. Because right now, it's just you constantly do stuff. You go for the first kills, then you need to do new leaderboards, and then new leaderboards, and then new, like, it's not casual at all. So if they want to make it more casual friendly, they have to go a little bit more easy. Like, you know, put a day between the leaderboards and the new raids, all that stuff. But I definitely feel a lot of burnout from a lot of players because there's a lot of stuff to do when they were promised a more casual game, right? But that is it for Tarisland. I do think Right now, Tarisland is not at a really good spot, even player base wise or anything. But with the season reset, I do have high hopes for them to bring back a lot of players and introduce the game to many new players. Because overall, I have been enjoying Tarisland, having a good time with it, with the guild, with the community. Overall, it's a really good and fun experience. I just don't think that the end of season is something people can really enjoy, right? So hopefully they make some changes for the next season. I hope to see a lot of people coming back to the game for the new season. Let me know in the comments below. Will you guys be coming back to the game on the season? I think the next season is like middle of August, which is good time because I'm going to be playing it from middle of August to September, and then I'm going to change to Throne of Liberty, and then I'll be back to Tarisland at the next season reset, most likely. That's how I'm going to be playing Tarisland. But let me know. I would love to hear you guys' opinion. Thank you guys for watching. Take it easy. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.